100 forms of fear. Now, when you think about some situation, you think, okay, what am I fearing? Usually it's something to do with the economic landscape of your life. Socioeconomic, got lots of bills. Maybe my bills are outweighing how much income I got coming in today. So driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. What do all those words have in common? It's self, it's selfishness, it's self-pity, it's victim, it's like the one fella said. He says, I'm an egocentric. Okay, I am an egocentric, and I'm reading this. Okay. What else do you got to say about that? And this guy goes to say, this old school guy from like the 1930s. He says, I'm like that retired Florida businessman who basks in the Florida sun, complaining about the sad state of our nation, but not doing a fucking thing about it, basically, right? And then he's like, I'm like that politician or reformer. I'm like the politician or reformer who says to myself, why? Now I lost my train of thought because I studied this stuff yesterday. I'm going to move on to the next classification. What comes after a politician? You got the retired businessman, you got the politician, and then you got the outlaw. The outlaw victim is the outlaw safecracker who walks through life firmly believing that society has totally wronged him in every aspect, in every step, in every way. Yeah, I can relate to that. The other one, here, I'll just read it because this is what gets good here. At the bottom of page 63, we talked about enjoying peace and relieving ourselves from the bondage. Now, what is bondage? Bondage is like an addiction, right? Bondage is like something that you need to have. Bondage is like, okay, what's the biggest bondage you could find on the internet? That's pornography, right? So for me, I'm proud to say that I don't look at pornography anymore. Did I used to? Yeah, damn rights I did. But I've gotten rid of that need for pornography. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I'm madly in love with a beautiful woman who is my best friend, who I'm going to marry, and I've never been married before. There's one person, I believe, out there for us all. It's life-changing when you meet that person. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not going to get all fucking Oprah Winfrey on everybody. And speaking of Oprah Winfrey, Bill Burr had a good comment about Oprah Winfrey the other day. She had made the quote, well, the hardest job in the world is, being a mom. Listen, being a mom or being a dad, it is extremely hard. But let's be honest, that Oprah Winfrey's got her fucking head in the clouds. That's not the hardest job out there. Bill Burr actually singled out oil rig workers with having one of the hardest jobs. And believe me, being an oil rig worker, a roughneck, I firmly agree. It can be extremely hard when you're out in minus 40 and you aren't able to get away from the wind because your prefab's got fucking rips in it, which protects you from the wind. You're at an elevation of about 40 or 50 feet in the air on a platform, and there's no place to hide sometimes, especially when you're tripping pipe. And the plus about working on a drill rig, though, is that there is lots of energized moving components with engines, and you're able to stay close. So what happens when you're constantly standing next to an engine? Well, you're breathing in exhaust. That ain't that good for you. So you're always trying to look, where's the wind direction coming from? Okay, I'm going to try to stay away the line of fire from all this fucking exhaust. It's very important. So yeah, oil rig working is extremely hard. I can imagine police work being pretty hard, definitely, and especially depends on the location, such as maybe like Compton or busy downtown precincts, like your space where you're policing. I can imagine you're dealing with fucking people with fucking needles and fucking trying to stab you. Like, hey, these guys got to ask, anything going to poke me when they're checking you? They got to ask that for a reason. So I put police work right up there with the even the drill rigs, and I've never been a police work. I've been confused for a police officer before because I keep my hair short, usually got a clean shave, sometimes I got a mustache, but I got rid of the mustache because I decided that I look too much like a fucking narc or something like that. But it's not like I frequent any places like I used to, like such as nightclubs and bars and whatnot. You go to a party afterwards, and next thing you know, you're fucking asking somebody for a fucking bag, and they're like, "Hey, are you a cop? Are you a fucking cop? Hey, are you a cop?" No, I don't miss those days. Let's put it that way. I do not miss those days. But we're gonna move on. Okay, so back to the retired businessman in Florida. These are character traits, attitudes of maybe our former self. Maybe it's something relatable, but I could relate to all these four motherfuckers. The minister or priest who sighs, wallows, and basically essentially judges all of society, of all the 21st century sin, all this sin that's going on around him, and he's like, oh, jeez. What does the politician say? The politician reformer says, what is the politician? Oh, I missed it. Okay, yeah, here it is. The politician says, our world would be a utopia. It would be heaven on earth. If only everybody just behaved, had their shit together. That's what the politician, they're fucking living in a delusion, right? But it's somebody else's fault. It ain't what I'm doing, making policies and, maybe taking out free speech in certain spots, saying you can't quote from the Bible, shit like that. So only if the rest of the world would behave, we would be living in peace and harmony. I don't think that's true. And again, the outlaw safecracker who thinks society has wronged him. That's when I think about the term the outlaw safecracker, as seen in page 63 of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I think, well, cracker. It's like a black guy calling each other the N-word, That's like a coined phrase for, oh, this guy he must be addicted to hard drugs. He's a cracker, right? But the outlaw safecracker who thinks society has wronged him, that's just so true. That's basically somebody that's all fucked up all the time and thinks everybody's out to get him. That's called living a life of paranoia, right? Living a life in the clouds of paranoia. And that can affect your 100 forms of fear, going back to our first statement. 100 forms of fear. And you know what? Think about it. In your life, how many times did you look back, say, 3-4 years ago, after you went through some adversity, a difficult situation, financial, spiritual, economical, whatever you want to call it, at work? You look back at that situation, you're like, man, what was I fearing for so long when it was just a simple fix, Goes to show you there's 100 forms of fear, And psychosis is real. What's psychosis? You become hyper-focused around these little problems, and they cause you to lose sleep, lose your extra ability to succeed on the job as far as, making your job your own and doing what you used to do at your job. Maybe you used to be really successful, and then you fall down on the wayside because you're so stuck in that stinking thinking up here. The brain tricks you, man. When I say the brain tricks you, it's because I believe that we all got angels and we all got demons. Now, I like what Andrew Tate said. Andrew Tate said it best. He says, man, you sucking into the demons all the time. You're letting them run your show. You're bowing